Twitch. You can watch Twitch for the
comments and stuff.
Comments. Yeah, exactly. And that way it works out really, really well. All right, so if you would mute for a second, I'll introduce you. Everybody will see you, but the audio people won't know you're coming. The people that listen on Apple and Spotify won't know you're coming yet. And then
I had a couple people message me saying they listen to it all the time on Spotify.
Yeah, no, I mean, we made top 100 gaming podcasts. I mean, Jesus.
Shit.
So that was pretty good on Apple. Let's see. Okay, ready? Here we go.
Correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
The further the planet from your star, the better the collector that you are. Gravity is the thing that you're looking for, and yes, we do expect you raise the floor.
If you're looking for your place in space, you found it. Not just any metaverse, it's the Solaverse. Welcome to the Solaverse Show with your hosts, Big Yoda and Bonga.
Hey, how about that? I actually timed it correctly for once and didn't jump in over the intro. Hello, Solaverse family. This is episode number 10 for February the 12th, 2022. It's almost Valentine's Day. If you don't have your plans set by now, just forget it. All the restaurants are packed, and, find something better to do. It's 1:07 in the PM, 19:07 UTC here in Texas. And Bonga, hello, sir. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm actually feeling a lot better, and I've been kind of rough shaped these past couple weeks, and I'm just happy to get back into the space. I feel like I, missed out on so much just because it moves so fast, but also because, this is where all my friends are.
I know, it's funny, right? It's funny that way. When you get into a community that has such great people, and you start missing it when you're not around for a while, and yeah, I know what that is. And I'm preparing to move out of my house. This is something we were starting to talk about pre-show. The house that we're renting, or we've been renting long-term, because my other house was destroyed. Most of you knew this. The whole bottom floor was destroyed by a bunch of different pipes that busted during our big winter storm almost a year ago to the day. The insurance claim went in on February the 18th, so it happened right about now, 1 year ago. Anyway, we're finally getting back in the house, so it's going to be... let's just say it's going to be a lot of work this week to get back into the house, because they already rented this house to somebody else starting Friday, so we have to vacate pretty quickly. But
wow,
yeah.
Are you going to remodel a streaming room for yourself?
Well, you know what? We are going to actually demolish the what was like a second little guest house out connected with by a breezeway to the main house, and so we are going to demolish what that apartment was and create a second living space. And yes, that will have a fully decked out recording studio, treatment, soundproofing, everything. And it will
LEDs.
be yes. So and yeah, so then I'm gonna try and focus on some of my voice work that I've been doing, but quite frankly, NFT work has become way more both profitable and fun than voice work.
So much more fun.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'd make $100 here or there, audio, doing some audiobook for somebody. But this is so much more fun. This is so much better. I can sell one NFT for $200 more than I bought it for. So she.
Do you think my voice qualifies for an audiobook? Or is it more...
It depends on what they're looking for, dude. Yeah, I mean, every single voice has some quality to it that somebody's looking for. So
Awesome.
It's all about making the presentation clear and making sure that there's no background noise or distracting elements and all that stuff. Sisham, Movich, hey, how are you guys doing? Y'all are in the chat. Thank you very much for showing up. We, for those of you that are on Twitch, you already see who is sitting there waiting, and so rather than go to an owner spotlight today, we're gonna actually do this.
Roger, we copy 10-4. Looks like we could use some help here with crowd control.
1 out of 12, 1 out of 12. We have an unauthorized leak of information. 1 out of 12. We need John out here on the double.
Yeah, so there it is. Chief Wiggum.
And here I am.
What's the 1 out of 12? You got to explain that quick.
1 Adam 12 is an old TV show that was called Adam 12 back in the 70s. My dad watched it. And the guy's call sign, he would ride around in his cop car and he would do stuff. And there are, when they would call him, they would call him on the radio, 1 Adam 12, whatever the police call is. And he would go do whatever he does in police land. It was one of the first cop shows, along with Chips back then.
Implying that John is the cop of the group?
Yes, exactly, right? That there's an unauthorized leak of information, and John has to go take care of it. Because that's what happens. Right, John?
I mean, I'd like to think so, but once it's out, it's out. There's nothing I can do about it anymore.
Yeah, I know. But you can beat them firmly about the head and shoulders with a wet noodle.
Damage control, that's all I can do.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, welcome, penalties. John. I don't think we've had you live on the show, and so I'm really excited to have you, man. How are you?
Thank you very much. No, I'm good, thanks. We had one arranged a couple of months ago, didn't we? That we just didn't happen for some reason.
Yeah.
But no, I joined the chat. I'm in there most weeks, but I figured, why not step up today and just have a little chat, see what's going on.
Dude, it's fun. It's great to have you. And plus this week, since we went to an every other week kind of thing, we just played marbles last week. And did you finally get that NFT, by the way, that you won?
I did. I found it in my hiddens.
Okay, good.
In amongst a whole lot of other stuff, but
okay,
yeah,
good.
It's out now.
Okay,
all good.
Good. So we played marbles last week, we'll play marbles again next week. Just kind of off weeks. But it's kind of neat that we now have gone to every 2 weeks because we get some information drops now. Over time instead of just kind of trying to riff on what's going to happen and whatnot.
Yeah.
But this week.
You timed this one quite well.
This week was really good because we got the airdrop of all of the lore that Lorepunk wrote, right? I'm guessing she wrote the majority, if not all, those little snippets, right?
She wrote every line of it. We went to her with the idea and said, it would be quite cool if we could. I guess it all started with the TV artifact that you guys had as your placeholder for months and months, and it seemed a bit of a shame to just sort of waste it. Now that it was gone, so we kind of just after Christmas we thought it would be quite cool to give it back to everybody. And then we had the idea, I wonder if we could get 2,000 lines of a story written. Went to Lorepunk and said, this is what we want, and she came back with what we've got, and it's incredible.
Oh yeah, it's so. For those of you that are watching, most of you probably have already gone and decoded your encrypted message, and so if you pull up
Bonga.
if you pull up in your OpenSea and you pull up your NFT, you'll see this encryption of basically just a bunch of hex code. And
I'll do it right now, John. I'll push the yes button for you.
There you go, right? If you go to the Solaverse website or follow the link in the description of the NFT on OpenSea, follow the link to the Solaverse website and then connect your wallet and decode the message. And that code will become something important that will be now fit into the lore. And what's great about that site is that everyone else who has gone in and decoded their messages will sit right there with you. And so there's, where did I put it? I had it. Here it is. So it's the solaverse.com/artifacts. And it is a British spelling of artifacts, by the way, ARTE.
The proper spelling.
It's the Queen's English, you guys. Get with the program. And so the ones that are decoded are in bold, and the ones that are still waiting are just still the the HTML. It's not hex code, but it's all it's like HTML whatever. It's like
if you're logged in, the ones that you've decoded will be highlighted as well, so that you can see which
right.
ones belong to you.
Oh God.
Oh, you're gonna start mine off now as well.
Doggos are like going bananas here behind me, and I'm not sure why. Because we're moving, and my wife's moving stuff around, and they hear thump, 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 and they start barking. So you guys are going to get a lot of background noise today. All right, I'm not going to tell you that today is going to be a beautiful podcast. There will be background noise. But yeah, I do. I'm going to refresh the site real quick and see.
Well, both my lines were primary, so that was cool.
The process of discovery. A listing of context is.
We got line 1 done.
As follows. Yes, line 1 is done. The process of discovery. Yep. A faithful recording of relevant command dialogue on the bridge of the Process rescue ship known by call sign Scimitar. Scimitar. Slicing through the galaxy.
Sounds aggressive to me, but I like it.
Yes, that maybe so, right? And excerpts from reports of Scimitar Commander and Fleet Commander Remembrancer. So is that the name of like the chief?
Robot?
The chief companion. I didn't know what to call him. But yeah, the chief companion. I had one that was Love, which was interesting. And
Love? Where'd you get that at?
That was that's one of the there's primary, love, comms, tech.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah. And what is like catastrophe?
Probably.
I don't know.
Have you got any of the Catast ones unlocked yet?
I don't.
Yes, right here.
There's
temporal anomaly arrives before humans existed. Possible paradox.
And then there's another one. Temporal anomaly arrives far too late. The planet is naught but dust. So it sounds like catastrophe to me.
Definitely.
Yeah, they've done something. Anyway, the idea is, and John, correct me when I start going off the rails, that we all have to figure out what this means. That we all have to help and jump in and decode it. And the way that we're doing this is we are all decoding our own messages when we connect our wallets. And then we get to see what the lore is. Is there, and I apologize for not knowing this, I should, but is there some code that we have to figure out behind all this, or is this just the story?
It's not so much a code. There are sort of Easter eggs and like fun bits in it that sort of go beyond the reach of the core story. But essentially, yeah, this is it's just the story to sort of explain some of the past of the Solaverse to you.
It's kind of the prologue, the beginning of Discovery, kind of, which is kind of the intro. Yeah.
Oh wow, there are a couple that are flat out labeled like sim number 554, for example. Iterations 2 to the 18th. That's a lot of iterations. That's a lot of iterations.
I like line 83, and I'm guessing MSIT, I don't know what it stands for, but it looks like it's like a fact. The human lungs can hold 6 liters of fluid, though the subject will most likely perish. I'm like, all right. So our companion robot caretakers are trying to keep us alive.
They're exactly, right? So maybe they're finding water planets. And to know that a human cannot tolerate being underwater that long, because once 6 liters of fluid shows up, they're dead.
I was thinking more of like coming out of stasis, some sort of fluid that keeps them alive.
Oh, like amniotic.
I love listening to the theories, the fans. I'm not going to comment on any of them. It's incredible just listening to you guys take it away. I love it.
And we know better than to ask you for your opinion because you won't give it. So
that's why Senna won't come on. He couldn't resist revealing.
He'll get drawn out, exactly. And I like the subcycles and microcycles. It reminds me of Tron, where cycles are, and then he defines it once in the movie that a millicycle is 8 hours Earth time, and so I wrote an RPG once based on Tron, and I started to, I never finished it, but the whole idea was these millicycles were gauged out into Earth time when you're in the machine and when you're out of the machine, that sort of thing, and how it would, when you're on the grid and all that jazz. But that was immediately what it reminded me of, is the cycles and millicycles and all that stuff, right? And it makes you feel less old. I'm over just like you reference old things I can relate to. The original Tron was way back in the 80s, I think. Might even been late 70s. But the new Tron was where Jeff Bridges was stuck in the machine.
And it had Olivia Wilde in it, which is Olivia Wilde.
Yeah, she was on my list. She is on my list, actually.
So what do you mean was?
She is. Yeah, she is. The 5, the list of 5 that you get a hall pass with if you ever met them, according to your marriage. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, Olivia Wilde is one of the 5.
She was a Spanish princess for a little bit. I know that.
Really?
Yeah. Huh. Like I did. I remember when she, I don't know, she was on House. She was on House for a little bit, right?
House. Now there's a guy, Hugh Laurie. I had no idea he was British until I saw an interview with him, because he had the American guttural accent just nailed.
He is an incredible actor. Did you know that? Have you seen House? You've seen the whole show?
I own the whole season. I own it all.
You know it's the Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
It's like the motif tape. Is what you're talking about?
It's basically a rewrite of Sherlock Holmes. The entire story, the whole plot, all his nemesis, the house he lives in, the drug addiction, Watson and Wilson. The whole, honestly, if you look it up, there's all sorts of Reddits about it. But the entire thing is basically Sherlock Holmes rewritten as a doctor.
They got
It's uncanny how well it's put together and how few people realized. Wow. But yeah, look it up. It's amazing.
I gotta take.
He even lives in the same house at 221 Baker Street or 221B. It's unbelievable.
So who's his Mortimer? Or it's Mortimer? Or no? What's the villain's name?
Moriarty. There's it's the person who shoots him in the episode where he gets shot.
Oh, okay.
I think that guy, something like you see on his file that his surname is Moriarty or something like that.
Oh God.
I gotta go back and watch that.
And didn't that happen like season 4-ish?
It's like halfway through it or something. Yeah. It's obviously it's planned from the beginning that's what it was, and just nobody realized. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's when you have shows that have a meta aspect to them that obviously have a grand plan in advance. It's so fun to realize what that is later on, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and people might not like that fact, but I love that it did that. I mean, when you repurpose those kind of content, it's linking it to everything. It's not about stealing; it's about honoring.
But it's the fact that it's called House and Holmes. It's so in your face. It's unbelievable, and nobody spotted it.
Absolutely hidden in plain sight.
His best friend Watson. Wilson, isn't it?
Watson. No,
it's Watson and Wilson.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the first case they both ever solved was Irene something. I don't know. Literally the same name.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's so funny.
That's really cool. And hey, we got a subscription from the Stripperverse.
Amazing.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh, speaking of which, did you guys hear the big news that OnlyFans is going to be joining the NFT community?
Well, duh.
Yeah, they officially announced it though. It came out that they're going to be making their own NFT eligible, subscriptions and stuff.
I wondered when that would happen. That was not an if. That was a when. And I know Nikki's dancers that have open fans is what I just called it. OnlyFans. I know that part of the Stripperverse thing that they're going to have is to buy the whatever membership thing that gives them a pass into the God bless America. Into the OnlyFans site for her entertainers that are going to be part of that. The more I hear about it, the more I'm like, I don't understand that world because I've never really trafficked in it, but
it's pretty much a Twitch subscription, just way more expensive.
Yeah, I guess, and that's the thing is that there's money to be made. The more I talk to her about it, the more she tells me just the incredibly weird things that guys will pay for, and it's almost always guys. And and I knew a little bit about the world because I used to run branches for Wells Fargo here in the States, and one of the branches I ran was across the street from 2 or 3 strip clubs in Dallas, and we would order, my little branch would order $16,000 in $1 bills every week.
Did you wash your hands?
Every week. Oh God! We had a few of the dancers that came in, and when the dancers came in, the tellers all were like trying to time the line to see who could go into the back room to do something at exactly the right time where they didn't have to handle the money. Because they just had this aversion to handling the money, and at the end of the day, they were crinkly and all this stuff. But I
always wondered why there's not more glitter on money, because glitter's hard to get off.
Oh yeah, I don't know, and the paper inherently doesn't have a lot of stuff stick to it. But yeah, it's interesting how much we would put from those dollar bills we would put into the shredder. We don't shred them, but we put it in the unfit currency pile and send it off to the Fed. And
anyways, thank you for the subscription, Nikki.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate that. Getting off topic again. Once again. See, if I didn't have Bonga, I would be taking complete right turns every time.
Ugh, don't give me that responsibility. I'm not John.
I was going to say, I have enough of that with Senna. I'm not looking after you as well.
Isn't that the way it goes, though, right? You have to have a creative, and you have to have somebody who's based in reality to make a project work.
Very true.
Yeah,
very true.
Exactly. So, John, tell us what new things are going to come up next week that we don't know about yet.
Okay, right. Well.
But no, in all seriousness, this drop happened, right? And what did you say we were pre-show? 51-ish, 52%?
It's currently 51.5.
51.
So I think it was 51. I think it might have gone up.
I added the 0.5.
There you go. Bonga decoded his because he was a bad little boy and didn't decode it the day of.
Hey, I was a busy boy.
And
works out it goes up 0.05 per line that's added, so unfortunately it's in even increments. It would be nicer if it was like 51.73 or something, but
because it's
the maths doesn't work out like that, unfortunately.
Yeah. See, if you'd had 2017 stars, then you would have had a nice weird number. But so what's the scoop with the NFT and NFT and chocolate or NFT and coffee? It seems like it's just kind of sporadic. I don't ever really know when you guys are going, or it's not you, I know, but can we?
It's they started off with the intention of let's do it every day, let's just chat and chat and chat. But there was a few days it was working fine. There was a few days where it was like 2 hours long. And I think everybody was realizing that, hold on, lads, we haven't got like 4 hours to take out of the working day anymore.
Right.
There was timing issues as well. I think we've just talked about sort of the time zone differences where they're looking to do it, or they had been doing it in the morning hour time. It sort of rules out most of the US and a big chunk of that audience, but it also kind of includes Eastern Europe and Asia and that sort of audience. So
right.
I think they're still working out the best times to do things. And yeah, I guess as for the days it's going up, they want to get to a more fixed schedule, like you say, so you can plan things in, you can work out when you're going to attend, which will be useful for everybody. But everything's just been so busy for the last couple of weeks now, and will be for the next couple of weeks with the next few things that we've got coming out, that it's just been quite hard for them to find the time to sit down and do it. So I think they're aiming to do at least a couple each week. But other than that, like I couldn't give you any more details. I don't know exactly when or which days it's going to be.
Yeah, I'd love to make the show every time, but it's just a little early for me. Although I do think I'm going to plan on adjusting my schedule a little bit, just because I want to match more with the UTC, especially since the Asian market is so huge.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's one of the things in the Diceverse thing that we have to really consider is when we do our stuff, we want Asia to be involved, because we've got a subsection of, I've got a group of 30 Filipino folks that I still maintain a little bit of contact with from when I used to live out there, and those are going to be our beta testers when we get to beta for actually the play to earn and the token mechanic and all that jazz. And so I want to make sure, and John, you guys would do the same thing, right? You need to avail yourself of that market, because the biggest play to earn market is in Asia.
Yeah, by miles.
Yeah. And so it makes good business sense to do things at such a time. Like, like right now is a terrible time to do something for, it's 5:30 in the morning in Australia. It's just after midnight in Tokyo. And so, this is not the best time in the world to do that sort of thing. Where mid-afternoon U.S. is great, but then it puts it at 2 a.m. your time, John. So it's
exactly
hard.
We basically need two of everybody in the business so that we can each work 12-hour shifts and cover the whole globe.
Right. Whereas I
wish it was that easy.
Yeah, me too. Right. It'd be great to have a follow the sun model, to have somebody here, somebody in Western Europe, and somebody in Eastern Europe, and then we could cover everything, right? Or even India would be able to cover the Far East. But it's just it's tough with the damn Pacific's just too damn big. It creates this big time rift. But so anyway, John, you're still on track as it relates to game release and planet minting and all that jazz. We're still and of course token release and all that stuff. Still on track, yeah.
Absolutely. The planets, we haven't released or fixed dates or anything about them yet. We've, I think Senna talked about it in the stage we did after the show, after the artifact event. That, we really want to get them right, and if that means sort of pushing them a little bit, which we have done since we first announced them, we're gonna have to do that just because it makes sense to. But everything that we've got coming up in the next sort of weeks and months or so is still on track. There's still a lot to do, but we've got good people working on everything, and we're plowing through it all. So yeah.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. I mean, you have so many of these communities that they make all these promises that aren't exactly false promises, but they can't deliver them on the timeline that their audience expects.
Yeah.
People get into the space like, hey, I'm going to make money right away. No, I mean, yes, there's money being made, but if you want to make it yourself, you have to take the time and, trust in the process.
Yeah. And that's what we're seeing from where we started. We had like these grand plans we have even more grand plans now, but we had grand plans and very short timescales of when we thought we'd be able to do everything by, and everything just exploded so much that we came to the realization that it's just not possible to work 36 hours every day, and as much as we try,
right,
and that we stick to the big things that we promised, and anything other than that we just we're still doing everything we've said. It's just down to when.
Yeah, work-life balance is a thing, right? In the real world, my company that I work for, those of you should all know by now, I work for CVS here in the States, and we're, it's a pharmaceutical / medical provider / health everything. And we have a very strict work-life balance kind of expectation for you guys, for all the employees to take time off and not work while, but in the metaverse, it seems like the expectation for creators is almost like to work 24 hours a day. It's like you guys are always expected to be on, and that's one of the things that I find challenging, trying to maintain a full-time job along with trying to, very slowly grow my own metaverse project, because we're not ready for launch. We won't be ready for launch for a little while. But once it does launch, I'm afraid that I'm going to get sucked in, just like I see you guys get sucked in.
Oh, we haven't had days off from like this year at least.
Yeah.
And for a good part of Q4 of last year, like I don't think Senna's had a holiday for years.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that we're so passionate about it. It doesn't really matter, because we're working hard, but it doesn't always feel like working hard, even though it is. It makes it easier because we're that passionate about it. But you're completely right. The balance needs to be there. We realize that as well, that we need to take time whenever we can. It's tough though. It's when you're self-employed or when you're running your own project.
Yeah.
Like you say, you've got an employer, they enforce sort of work-life balance on you, but when you're your own employer, what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly, right? And that's...
Well, another good balance that you guys have is you're actually, involved in friends with people in the community. So even though it is technically work engaging with them, it's still also a little bit of a stress reliever on your day, I bet.
Oh, definitely. And yeah, like the community itself is just, we say it every time, it's just incredible how passionate the community are, how willing they are to help out and to sort of, try and do things for us and lift the burden a little bit. It's brilliant. It's absolutely incredible. The only thing is, once the burden's lifted, it just means we have more ideas to fill the gaps.
Right, right.
It just never ends.
I know that's the funny thing is with the companions, and I had a chat with Senna about this, that I was afraid you guys were getting a little too scattered, right? That you were spreading yourselves too thin with the whole companions idea, and I was like, dude, I don't want to see you guys get off track, and I don't want to be. I don't want to be that guy that's that says, hey, you guys have all of a sudden follow the shiny object kind of thing. Hey, we got this idea, let's go run with it, because that's what happens in a lot of these metaverse projects. And a couple of people that I I'm very good. Well, so I say friends. I guess I'm friends, even though I've never met them personally. I'm friends with them now because we're all in the same server and we talk all the time. Oh my God, here we go again. Every time my wife makes a sound, all of a sudden it's like the world ends and they go bananas. But anyway, talking to these folks, they were all like, "Hey, what's the deal?" The companions just kind of seem to come in and take over everything. And I'm like, well, what else would there have been besides a lull between stars and planets and token and game? Because we were going to hit this really low period for probably 3 to 6 months where we weren't going to get a lot.
Yeah.
So this actually is probably wound up being a good thing, even though I was concerned about you guys spreading yourself too thin. The way that the artifacts and all this reveal came about, I really like the way that it happened. What was it, day before yesterday when we had the reveal?
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday. And it was, I really liked it. I think I've come to really respect Lorepunk a lot.
Yeah.
In terms of what she does and how she's been able to write. I almost want to get her to write a book so I can narrate it on Audible.
You got to wait till she's finished with ours first. You're not having her.
Hey, you can do the trailer work there.
Yeah, exactly, right. And that's the funny thing was I was in Twitter Spaces and I was shilling. There was a guy that had hey, come shill your product, but if you shill your project, you have to do it in Batman voice. And so I went out and shilled, a little bit of the Diceverse. I said, but what I really want is all you people that are doing your own metaverse projects, if you need voice work, and I did Christian Bale Batman, followed by Val Kilmer Batman, followed by Michael Keaton Batman, and then I ended with the old Adam West Batman, because he just spoke in monotone, talking just like this, trying to be spooky, but not really, right? And it was silent for like 10 seconds after I quit talking, and then they were like, what the hell just happened?
The awkward pause, like, was that planned?
yeah, exactly, right? And then, Skip Clooney was just Clooney. Clooney was just Clooney talking Clooney in Batman. I mean, seriously, that was just stupid. And the reason I bring that up is because your Batman is sitting back there, and I almost did the Lego Batman guy, but I didn't.
Dude, Lego Batman was good.
Yeah.
I liked Lego
Will
Batman.
Arnett, I love him. He's brilliant.
Yes, he was so deep. He was like a really angry guy.
Yeah, no, I know.
But it was also sarcastic. It was just so good.
Yeah. But yeah. But yeah, no, I like Batman. In fact, the people I work with, the particular project that I'm working on right now, is very high stress. There's like 35 people on the team because we deal with all the big giant drug manufacturers like Pfizer and all those guys, Eli Lilly. But the leadership of the team are all Batman fanatics. and comic books. And so we after a meeting is over, or we have our retro or whatever, and we'll hang around, we'll talk about Batman or DC or comics or Marvel or whatever, and it's really kind of fun that creates a way to bond among your teams when you have certain little things like that that bring you together. And so I kind of I sent a shout out to that guy for that's a really innovative, really interesting approach. If you want to let somebody shill, let them shill, but make them do something that's out of the ordinary. That's really kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, but anyway, that's
Kind of a talent show.
Yeah, I digress though, because there were some pretty bad Batmans in that, or Batman. I don't know. Anyway, John, what else do you have for us? Or I don't want to take up just a ton of your time, but do you have anything that you wanted to get out that we haven't asked you yet?
I'm curious to see if anybody's actually trying to decrypt the lines themselves yet, without, as in like looking at other people's without uploading them to the system. It is possible. Using
like the actual backtracking
all the
them?
information that's out there. They are decryptable.
I was wondering if you used a DNA type structure like NFTs do, where you configure a pattern. It takes a while.
There is a pattern. They are decryptable.
I think
it won't be easy.
Kenobi was talking
it's not
about
crazy
doing it.
difficult. It's just
Of course, Kenobi's talking about doing it because Roby is the guy.
I saw him in the Stargazers chat. He was talking about it a bit, but he was talking about needing the key, and it was like it's not going to be possible without a key. And I'm like, okay, well, find the key then.
You can find a key, I suppose, but that's a good thing you brought that up, because I didn't know if these were all just random random GUIDs or whatever, right? But they actually are structured. So okay.
Yeah, they're not random. A few people didn't realize that they were unique. A few people thought it was just the artifacts all have the same line on the same encrypted line, and then you upload it and it decrypts your number. But no, every one of the 2000 has a completely unique description, which is where the text is. And they are from that they are decryptable manually.
Well, see, now that's a tidbit of information right there. Movich says he's going to try. He had to make an Excel sheet with the old code, so as they got revealed, it would have the old text to compare to the new one. Yeah.
So they're still on the NFTs, Movich. So it's a bit of a hassle. But if you go to OpenSea and look at one of the NFTs, just type the number in the URL, you'll see what its original code was.
Yeah. Jojo Sue, first time chatter. Hey, how are you? You tried all the online tools, posted in encryption Reddits. All you found out is base 64. Well,
it's a little bit more complicated than just like type the line in a decryptor in like an online tool and it'll give you the answer. You don't think I'd make it that easy for you? Right. There's a couple of extra steps to it.
Are you talking about going back and looking at the contract and then the token URL type deal, or what are you talking about?
No, you shouldn't need to go. You don't need. There's nothing in the contract that's. I don't even think we validated the contract yet, so I don't actually think you can see the source code on Polygon Scan. We will, but there's nothing in there that's pertinent to the decryption.
But I did want to ask real quick: are you guys going to eventually add new images, or are you just going to keep the static TV going?
Don't take our TV
away. Literally, the point of the drop was originally just to give you guys the animated GIF because everybody seemed to like it.
I loved it.
Yeah. The fact that we then added all these stories to it was just like, it was as I was driving home from my sister's house at Christmas, I was in the car thinking, would it be quite cool? And then it just spiraled from there. So yeah, the idea was just to give you the pictures, and now the pictures are the story.
That's
so
the
you keep the picture.
Part, right?
We'll never change them.
I don't want to lose my TV.
I remember, because for 3-4 months that we just stared at that TV, waiting to see our sun, waiting to see our stars, and then it's going to be nostalgic a couple years down the road.
I think so too, right? When we're all just when we all pitch in together and buy an island.
Yeah,
I was thinking.
Get one of those
particularly. I was thinking if we all pitched in together, we could buy Scotland.
I don't know why you'd want to.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I could just buy if I could just buy the island of Ailsa Craig, then I would be happy. And because that's where they make all the curling stones, right? That's where that Blue Home granite comes from, on that island.
I didn't know that.
The granite they make the curling rocks out of, and But yeah, I still have to make it to your neck of the woods because one of my friends' husband is on the board for the old course at St. Andrews, and so he's told me that I can get on there and play because he's a member.
That'd be
obviously.
cool.
And so I really want to go play golf there just once to say that I did, right? And
It's brilliant. It's a lovely place, St. Andrews.
oh yeah,
You gotta go when it's not windy.
well
Yeah,
that's
good luck with that. There's
Yeah,
no
that's
such
like
thing.
there's like 4 hours of the day where it's not 20 kilometers per hour wind, right?
Yeah. It's weird when you get there because to get on the actual old course, it's a lottery system. So you can go and you put your name in the hat basically, and then you go and put yourself in on one of the other courses, and then they just pick names out of the hat and say, right, you've won. You get to tee off at 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. or whatever. Even if you're in the middle of a round on another course, you're like, okay, cool, drop it, and then run over to the old course.
Yeah.
Incredible, though. It's definitely worth it.
I bet. So JoJo's got a question in the chat. I didn't find out what the numbers at the end of the encryption are. Are they not part of the base 64? Is that the key? I guarantee it's not the key, but they all seem to end in equal signs. But that's a lot of times that's kind of standard for what pops out at the end of codes that are like Blizzard, for example. When you encode a deck for your deck code for Hearthstone, they always have an equal sign at the end of it. So it's just part of the key.
I mean, I'm not going to give it away, but it's obviously it's there for a reason.
Right. Right. But yeah, we look forward to JoJo. Seems like they have done this to a higher degree than most. Maybe Roby has also really delved into this, and a couple others, I think. But JoJo looks like they've really done the legwork so far, trying to get all these tools and and using them and trying to. But yeah, now that we know, John,
Good luck.
We're coming.
Good luck.
We're
I
coming.
hope.
Is there?
I mean, there's no tool on the website for you to upload other people's lines, but obviously you can contribute if you do figure out how to decrypt. You could contribute them to the Google Drive, the Google Doc that's gone.
Oh,
that's
yes.
been updated.
Yes, that's a great thing too, right? Savannah started one. I know you guys have one, so there's a good thing out there. And is there a?
Oh no, we don't have one. It's just Savannah's. I've just got the database, so I know what all the things are anyway.
Okay. I thought that Google Drive doc was you guys, and she had like a spreadsheet.
No, Savannah started that. We just pinned a message for her so everybody else could see it.
Oh, okay.
That's
good.
entirely 100% community led, and
See,
not
that
going to be
sounded
interfered with by us at all.
That was so much. That sounded so much. People were like, "Does Yoda have his spreadsheet up yet?" And all this like. Because, I was the guy running the spreadsheets before, but no, she was the one. Maybe it's...
I assumed it would be you. I even said well, you wouldn't have heard it because Senna had us muted in the actual stream part of it. But I even said, I bet Yoda's the first one with the spreadsheet.
And I would have been. It's just that I'll talk. I need to talk to you after the show about this. But I've been roped into a yet another metaverse project, and I actually had to turn. I belong to a group called Jump, which is a group of marketers that are trying to get into the metaverse. And I mean, these are people like from Gap and big brands. Bank of America has got somebody in there. Their chief marketing officer in there from Nike. I mean, there are huge brands that are in there trying to figure out how to get into the metaverse. And I'm just going to tell you this: they're going to fuck it up. But anyway, that being said. A couple of them have come to me in the last, hey, can you help us out with this? Can you help us out with that? I'm like, dude, I don't have any more time. There's no more time in the world for me to get into another metaverse project. I can't do it. But that being
probably
said,
a good thing that we went to bi-weekly then too, because I got a couple things on the horizon as well. So
yeah, and it just gets busier and busier. But that being said, I've got something I do want to run by you and Senna, John, if you have time after.
I wanted to ask something related to the Solaverse real quick, though.
Yeah.
And we've had one collab, right? The King Council of Kings?
Yep.
Yes.
Are there any others on the horizon you can hint at?
Probably not. I can say there are, but I can't say who they're with. I mean, I don't know what else you expected.
Exactly. Right.
Just knowing that there are some is good news, and holding it back tells me they're probably big ones that you got to kind of finalize some things with. So I'm excited, hoping for some potential collab.
Oh, you never know. I mean, Council of Kings isn't that huge, right? You know,
To me, it is.
they've got a pretty good following, but it's not. I mean, it's not Ozzy Osbourne stuff. You know,
What's
that's
their volume's pretty high. I know that.
400, 500,000 people on Discord. You know, but I guess to each their own, right? You can have a 600,000 people following your Discord, and your project is just in shambles. I mean, look at CO1. You know, I mean, that project was just a cluster.
Did anything happen with that? I didn't really follow it too much.
I bugged out. I don't know. Yeah. That was just a total cluster. But hey, my Mavius has gotten into the chat. That's our my John. He's my CTO in the Diceverse, and so this is the guy that I say, hey, you know what? If you ever need anything, jump in and try to flag down John, because he's the master.
Hey. Oh, just in Movich, you said. Do you say the description of the artifact is the original text? Yes. Yeah, if you look at the artifacts on OpenSea, look in the description in between the interrupt and the resume, that's the original encrypted content for all 2,000 of them.
Yeah. So you could put together a sheet that has the
Decrypt the language.
Yeah, the encrypted language and the decrypted language as they get decrypted. Yeah, you could. You absolutely could. In fact, I'm saying that Yoda is not going to do that in a spreadsheet right now. So I'm saying that Movich, when I say we could do that, I mean you.
The royal we.
Yes. Charlie Wee. That was my CEO of a company I used to work for. Would say, "Who's we? Charlie Wee? Charlie Wee got fired. Somebody take responsibility for this." You know.
What about the companions, John? Are there any cool one-of-ones that you're interested in seeing the reaction of?
Or are they all one of ones? Don't you have like 13 bajillion
obviously
copies?
there are some crazy one-of-ones. The collection's just hilarious. It's some of the ones in there that I've seen I just want. I'll probably never be able to get them, but I'll try. But there's definitely some standout ones to look forward to.
I do like how humorous they are. Like, I mean, I like how they're playful. You know, they're doodles, kind of doodly with the artwork, and then they also are like just fun.
So
I mean, there's obviously a bit of a lot of inspiration, the sort of the palette and the simplicity of them from things like doodles. But they're all hand drawn. We got an artist to draw every single piece by hand. And then our system puts them all together to make the variations. So they are unique. There's a few nods towards some other big collections that we're all fans of that you'll see quite easily in there. And then there's some very special one-on-ones that will be hopefully quite sought after.
Nice.
Well,
hopefully those aren't the ones that we get on free drop, so they aren't mutated.
Oh, right, or something. Yeah, I don't know. The mutated ones are cool, but that was the other thing too, right? This is going to be one of those where you guys are going to be blind to it too, right? Because I mean, using hash lips or whatever you use to create your various permutations and combinations of the NFTs still leaves the possibility of the owner knowing number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. But you're going to have a function in your script again, just like you did before, right? Where it's going to pick some random place to start, and then you're not going to know what the hell's coming up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we've been back and forth, and obviously we had that stage in Discord a while ago where we were discussing one of the problems that we were having. It's going to be an interesting launch. We're going to have to wait to see what happens with the star holders with their allocation and how they're going to be assigned, or how many of them even get minted, because I imagine some star holders won't. I don't know why they wouldn't, but I'm sure there'll be reasons why some don't get minted.
Right.
So we'll still allocate them 2 stars. They'll just end up going out in the public mint afterwards. But it'll all be completely random. So obviously we know what the collection looks like from our end at the minute, and what order everything is, and where all the one-on-ones and the cool ones are. But like you say, like we did with the stars, it'll be a random starting point, which means that there's no way that we could tell, who the 2,000 ones are going to be in order to sort of to rig it. And it'll all be like we did with the star launch. We'll do sort of provenance information on the website and proof of fairness and everything.
Right. Well, good.
It'll be almost good if it doesn't mint out, in my opinion, just because, there is that long period between now and April or May when the alphas gets launched, have some time to build up some funds and mint some more.
Yeah.
True.
Because my star is going to be worth 3 ETH, soon.
Once the game comes out, maybe.
Next Friday. I'm expecting it. No.
So, I mean, this is one of the things with the companions. They're obviously one of their big features is that they get access to the alpha of the game after the star holders do.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I think Senna's been starting to market and get people to push to, I guess, start building teams. People that are going to be getting their companions, you want them on star. You want them playing in your star because it's going to earn you money.
Now, I have a question about that because it is interesting to me. Like, you assign companions to stars, and then eventually we're going to be slotting planets as well. Is there any sort of tie-in there, or is it just kind of just to build your community so that those people will eventually slot their planets as well?
Yeah, it's basically that. The mechanic for assigning the planets into the slots for the stars isn't in place yet. Obviously, that won't be until we start developing the planets more thoroughly. So for now, the stars, like the game, will be played on planets within the systems. They just won't be planets that are sort of defined by the NFT details. Right. So all the people that own companions that are playing will still be playing on, each star's allocation of planets. They all have their own number. And then, when we release planets, we'll just slot them in, and people will either already be playing on certain ones, or you can set up your own rules of who's allowed to play, that type of thing. But for now, it's literally just a way of getting people that own companions to play the game, to help, stress test the servers, to help work out the sort of the economy of the P2E mechanics and everything. Mm-hmm. When it was all originally planned that the star holders would be the only ones that play, it was that we were sort of naively thinking, we'll have 2,000 people playing the game. But obviously, at the minute, we're going to have, 890, I think, was the last time I checked?
886 at the moment.
886. So there's going to be 800-ish people.
Maybe, right? And that's assuming they play, and I don't know.
That's true. Yeah, there'll be a good chunk of them that won't, and that's completely fine because you don't need to play to earn. It's going to be the mechanics are already there.
Right.
Just the ability to get the companions in. That's another potential 10,000, another 8,000 people on top of the star holders to just get them going, get people earning.
I think that's a good idea. I think it's a great idea because I would think that over time, people lose interest in games and whatnot. You'd be lucky at one point to have 400 star holders continuing to play, but to bring in another possibly 8,000. Of course, you know how it works in the NFT community. That the 8,000 available are going to turn into approximately 4,000 people who are actually holders, and it always seems like if you get 50%, that's pretty good, because people are going to hold multiples, and.
Plus, the space is so busy that everybody's trying to do other things. It gets distracted.
Right. But one more thing, Bonga. I'm sorry. Have you made a decision as to, or is the, and obviously you won't tell me if you don't know. Even if you know and you can't say,
even if I know,
right? Yeah, exactly. But have you guys made a decision in terms of is this going to mint on Polygon or is this going to mint on ETH?
The companions,
right?
They'll be on ETH.
They'll be on ETH. Okay.
Confirmed.
There you go. See, look at that. We got one little piece of thing that's confirmed. How about that?
I figured that was already out there. I thought we'd already said that before.
Maybe you have. I just didn't see it.
ETH minting has gotten better lately. I don't know exactly what's behind it news-wise, but I've noticed that the gas prices have been steadily lower.
Here's the thing, right, is that when once Hashflips came out with replacing the enumerable in the function with a counter, all of a sudden gas fees got cheaper because it lowered the complexity of the contract, and John, you can speak to this way better than I. And all of a sudden, your gas fees went down by like 45%.
Yeah.
That sums it up. Basically, everybody's always known for a long time that enumerable was expensive or is expensive. It's just convenient to have the functionality that it provides just baked in. If you're able to write your own functionality to replace it, then go for it. It's clearly more efficient. It's just a bit more work.
Right. Oh, there's a question for you. Have you looked at the ERC 1155 as opposed to the 721? And he said he heard it's more complicated but lower gas fees. I honestly don't. Is that true? I thought the 1155 was like the lazy way to do it.
I don't know what the difference would be with in regards to gas fees. To be honest, I haven't looked too much into development on it. But yeah, it's something to look at. We're constantly looking at new ways, or any way we can really, to reduce gas fee, to speed things up.
Right.
It's just it's one of those trade-offs that you can spend a lot of time learning something new and deliver it and save 5%, or you can do what you've got time and ability to do and ship it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we're on some quite tight deadlines, so some of the things that we're just doing, like companions on ETH, for example, we're doing everything we can to utilize these new sort of versions of the 721 protocol. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the space is evolving so fast that people are finding very good, new, innovative ways to avoid gas when they can. You know,
as long as you keep the value that of the process, and you don't lose your integrity. I think it's probably do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I believe in the developers at that point.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. And ETH, I mean, obviously it's been going back up lately. Yeah, if gas comes down enough, well, I know we all hate gas, but
Yeah.
if we can get the efficiency of it down, I feel like there's enough utility in this project in particular that, it's a bit of gas. It's fine.
Yeah.
And in the long run, it'll help too. As far as integration into the later stages of blockchain and this metaverse society, I guess.
Right. All right. Well, hey, I'm out of stuff to talk about. Bonga, what do you got? Anything?
I have a ton of questions on Project Dawn, but I don't want to push our stream too far. But I do want to ask one thing, because I don't actually know how it works. How is the mechanics, or how are you guys thinking, because I know you probably don't have it done, the mechanics will be done as far as play to earn? Is it going to be like play a match and earn, or whatever you earn during a game you get to take with you? Because based on the game, it seems to be somewhat like Command and Conquer with a little bit of resource collecting and whatnot, but I don't know how you get paid out in the end.
So the rewards, in terms of the solar rewards, they'll be for completing activities, for doing missions, for basically completing missions or little goals that are set within the game for you.
So like achievements and stuff like that.
Things like that. There'll be time played, so for the amount of time you spend in the game, there'll be sort of trickling rewards available for that as well. Basically anything you're doing in the game is earning. And you and your planet and your star a proportion of those rewards.
Will there be tournaments or contests and stuff?
So long term there will be. Obviously alpha, we're just talking about PvE things. Yeah. There's not going to be fighting against each other. Long term there definitely will be. There'll be tournaments. There'll be sort of timed competitions, how much can you do in 24 hours, or how many battles can you win in the next half an hour, or stuff like that. We'll be able to run any types of missions like that.
Gotcha.
But in the alpha, it's definitely not. We're not putting any of that sort of extra functionality in. It will be nice, but we'd rather
get the bugs out.
Get the bugs out. Get the game actually functional first, and that's kind of that's the point of it.
Okay.
Cool.
Very cool. And then another question that's... I'll ask it. I'm going to ask it later.
You're going to ask it later?
Yeah, because it has to deal with planets and maps in the game and stuff, and it's going to lead to a big, long discussion. I don't want to eat up too much of you guys' time.
Is that something that is probably well served with a show that's in March as we get closer to this kind of thing?
Probably. Right before the release of the game, maybe we'll ask that, or after the alpha, maybe even.
When you start getting teasers out about the gameplay itself, maybe we get John back on here and start
happy
about
to
that.
come back.
Oh, that's commitment.
That's commitment. it's confirmed. That's it.
Confirmed.
It is absolutely confirmed. So yeah, dude, yeah. So you know what? We totally blew by the whole thing of metaverse news and all that stuff. But you know what? I don't care. That was.
I do have a little bit of an announcement I want to make before we end the show, if that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Go for it.
So I have been planning for a little bit to do this, and I talked to it's JB Tracking, right? Who does the Solaverse Weekly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked to him a little bit about it too. I think I'm going to be launching a weekly or bi-weekly newsletter, and it's either going to be about metaverse news, things that are coming out and stuff like that, or it's going to be part personal blog, I guess, because I go to so many communities and learn a bunch of things and talk to developers, and it's always interesting to me to find out how communities differ. Like, yeah, everyone has similar channels and they do similar events or giveaways and stuff like that, but you can really tell that there's a difference between a good project and a bad project, and
Right.
the better you are at identifying that is it's going to save you in the long run. It's going to help you enjoy the community more too. That's the biggest thing. Is I don't want the NFT space to become all about are you getting scammed or not. I want it to be more, where's your place?
That's cool, dude. And you're involved in so many different things that provides value for the overall community.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I don't want
to
put too much responsibility on my shoulders, but
oh boy,
I'll try to make it fun.
Responsibility in the metaverse. We could write papers on that.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody would write this. Somebody would read them on LinkedIn somewhere. But yeah, so okay, so I've got one little piece of news as well, and that's regarding Super Bowl Sunday tomorrow here in the States. Right, it is the big Super Bowl. I don't know how big it is out there in Great Britain, but
it's not. I mean, I enjoy it, but it's not. American football is not a thing over here.
Right. Yeah, and that's what they play a couple of games over there in London, here and there, and there's some diehards, I'm guessing, that really like that sort of thing. But I think from the world standpoint, it's more of a U.S. event where 400 million U.S. Americans are watching. So, sorry.
No, I liked it.
The U.S. American thing was a callback to that poor girl that did that atrocious response in the Miss Universe or Miss America. Anyway, during Super Bowl, there is going to be several cryptocurrency ads, right? And those of you that would like to go bet right now, there is a proposition bet that is available, and I believe the cash line is 110, which means if you bet 110, you win $100. You guys know I have friends in the music industry and the acting industry and all that stuff. So I will tell you right now that the Bored Apes are going to make an appearance at halftime. And I'm not entirely sure how, but I believe Eminem and Snoop Dogg are going to somehow reveal theirs in the halftime show.
I actually know a little bit about this. I don't know what your bet is, but I'll keep it to myself.
The bet strictly is, will the Bored Apes be available? Will you see a Bored Ape at halftime? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And it's it's 110. Basically, you have to bet more than you win, but you will win, right? The other thing that is not so public knowledge is that as a part of all this stuff, there will be a NFT platform that is going to be advertised. That is well, there's going to be 4, but the main one that I'm thinking of is F as in Fox, T as in Tom, X as in X-ray, FTX US. And they are going to span multiple blockchains, Ethereum, Solana, whatnot. And there's going to be a QR code that's going to flash on at some point in time during the Super Bowl, probably around halftime. And the Bored Apes are going to be on FTX. And I know this because I am, for some reason, I am on FTX. I don't know why or how. I got approved and did all my KYC stuff with that platform about 3 months ago, and I never did anything with it. And then I heard this rumor, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll go put some NFTs on there. And I was like, oh, my God, they do KYC and all that stuff. And then as soon as I put my email address in, it was like, oh, welcome back. I'm like, wait, what? And so, yeah, anyway, there's going to be some dice. There's going to be some of my Diceverse guys on there. And I've created, if you guys saw my tweets, I've created dice that are in Cincinnati Bengals and LA Rams jerseys, so to speak. I drew them.
Nice.
Those Doge guys?
Yeah, they've got Doge heads and they've got dog feet. And the dog feet, of course, are in their football uniform with the socks of no shoes because they're dogs. And, yeah, and so I've put a hidden... one of the attributes on those is that there is a score on the attribute of the NFT. from 7 to 40. And if the score comes up as your number, then I'm going to draw one person to win money, actual fiat, because these are all being sold in U.S. dollars. And so there's only 200 of them, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, if you guys want to go check it out, ftx.us is where they're going to be, and they're going up. They're going up this tonight, as a matter of fact, for the game tomorrow. And so hopefully, I'm trying to capitalize on my own, inside knowledge. Quite honestly, it's like insider stock trading, but not.
Don't crypto ads at the Super Bowl? Don't they usually hit terribly? It's completely the wrong market, isn't it?
That's my guess, but I'm just
not anymore,
because it's only $1. Yeah, it's only $1 to throw these on FTX, so it's not like a huge minting cost. And so I could lazy mint them on OpenSea, obviously free, but
Well, and Pepsi, I know, is involved in the collab there with Bored Apes. They're doing something around halftime as well. I think the crypto market is going to make a little bit of it's not going to be a huge splash, but it's going to make a splash during the Super Bowl. And I know a lot of athletics are getting into it as well, especially with Nike and was it RTK or whatever they have.
Yeah, Coinbase is going to have an ad for their NFT platform, and apparently they're partnering with Rolling Stone to launch the first whatever the pilot is for their NFT platform. So it's coming very, very soon. The Coinbase thing is.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I read again, these are all innuendo and speculation, but once you see 5 different sources saying the same thing, you kind of start to think, yeah, I think this might be there might be a thing, to this. And then there's 2 others as well. That one was crowdfunded to get enough money to put a Super Bowl ad together, but they are specifically for the artists that helped get enough money for that. But yeah, so it'd be interesting to see, how this becomes the year of the cryptocurrency, and we're already bouncing off of the lows of our 50% haircut, which turned out to be almost exactly 50%. And so I'm looking forward to a bullish run through 2022, at least in the back half of 2022. I believe we're going to see a really good bullish run.
I think it's already NFT-wise. I don't know if NFTs are going to eclipse crypto coin, obviously, but they were kind of right on that precipice where all these bigger name projects are releasing their second iterations and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. If you track the groups and the projects on Twitter and stuff.
Yep. We just need to all be in and entrenched before Meta comes in and screws it up for everybody.
They're getting some bad press.
Oh, and they will, because it's completely, their whole philosophy is completely against decentralized anything. Zuck can't do that. He can't physically allow anything to be decentralized within the Facebook metaverse.
OCD.
Yeah, he's got to have his hands in everything, and that's going to be their downfall. But unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people that follow that same business model, so who knows. Anyway, that being said, that's it for me. John, you got anything else?
I don't think so. I think
no leaks of information that you want to give us.
No leaks. Sadly not today. I think the artifact drop was enough. That was a big one. I feel like everybody just sort of kind of forgot about it because we announced it obviously on the 1st of January, and then didn't really say much else about it. And it was just coming up this week. We're obviously working really hard behind the scenes, but I don't think you guys realized. I don't know if you guys realized that it was coming, and then all of a sudden, bam, here we go.
Yeah, and that was one of the things that popped up. I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's right. This was supposed to happen. And then bam, here it was.
I remember the airdrop and stuff, but I think it passed by my mind because I was thinking of so much other utility-based stuff, and I was like, oh, I wanted no content for sure. Right. But then I was like, are the companions part of the artifact? Is there a mutation factor? No, we're good.
The mint date for the companion still hasn't been completely revealed, right? We're still looking maybe end of February, 1st of March-ish.
Still not confirmed yet. Yeah. That's a Santa question, that one.
Yeah, no, I figured, yeah. And so my guess is, first, second week of March, maybe. It just depends. But we'll see. Heck, it's already the 12th, so it's kind of hard to put together a 10 days before it's supposed to happen. So
we're working hard in the background. Don't worry about that.
Oh yeah, no, I know y'all are. I know.
I never want to rush a developer. I've seen those projects where they try to rush a mint, and half the time they're scams, and the other half of the time it goes dead.
They blow up. Yeah, they just blow up. Like those.
Yeah, if you rush it, even if it's not a scam, it can look like one, and then it's killed you.
Yeah.
If you make enough mistakes in it, even if you're trying to do it properly, it's game over.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're trying not to rush. Obviously, we are rushing everything, but we're trying not to as much as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I find a community and their mint is like in 2-3 weeks, I'm like, no, there's just no point.
If somebody's been able to get enough interest in 2 or 3 weeks, it's bots. It's not legit. It's not gonna pan out.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep. 100%. All right, gentlemen. Well, I appreciate you guys coming onto the show.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and like I'm thanking Bonga, like he's always here. It's his job. It's his job to be here.
Hey, I've missed a couple shows, right?
I know.
2.
Hey, did we get any ETH from Senna? This, I think we've kind of let that go for giveaways and stuff. I think we've just totally let that go. So
we're now with the companions and stuff.
Yeah.
We might do some like whitelist things later on, but
I think
at
we'll
the
get
moment
back on that.
it's on pause.
Yeah, we'll get back on that in a few weeks. But
Yeah, I have no idea what he agreed with you on that sort of stuff. But yeah,
Yeah,
there's always things we can give away.
right, we'll
Plenty
get
of
back on
solar
that.
to throw around.
There you go. See, there you have it. All right, guys. Thanks for another really fun little show here today.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, John. I think this is the first time I've seen you. I don't know if you had like
I
a
think so. This is
before.
my first appearance on camera.
Yeah, we kind of like let that slip in there. We didn't announce it.
Yeah.
I think Senna put a picture up on Twitter a little bit ago, but
Right.
like, first time we're actually seeing the team. Now we just.
Oh
make
yes,
people.
he did his alien friends look alike, didn't he?
Oh
In
yeah,
his-
Web 2.
in his
Web
tie-dye
3.
jumper.
Uh huh.
Yeah,
That
that
was-
was surprising. Like I didn't expect him to look like a snowboard bum.
Great.
Oh, I'm texting him now. I'm telling him that.
Great.
It's the Winter Olympics. It just came to mind.
Podcast host removed for calling the owner of the Solaverse a hobo.
I didn't call him a hobo. I mean,
No, you just said he
snowboard-
looks like one.
He
It's
just said he
different.
looks
It's fine.
Dude, snowboard bum is a fashion statement. Like
I
I
like
mean,
that.
it's just dressing comfortably
It's
in the
a-
winter.
Yeah, exactly. Sean White would tell you that it's a genre. It's an attitude.
Yeah.
It's not a thing, right?
It's the board shorts of winter sports.
Exactly. All right. Those of you in the chat room, hey, appreciate you guys being here tonight. I really enjoyed you guys' company, and thanks for the questions and interactions. And you guys will be back in 2 weeks with another Solaverse show. Next week will be marbles or something similar to find some manner of chicanery for us to do and have fun with. But we shall see you guys in 2 weeks. So with that, good night and good luck.
The opinions presented here are the opinions of the host and or guests and do not represent the opinions or views of the Solaverse, their managing partners, or employees. Any information regarding cryptocurrency or non-fungible tokens should not be construed as financial advice. All original content is considered the intellectual property of Studio 42, LLC.